If you want to upload bulk amount of data, if you want to upload bulk amount of data at a time, how will you upload? If you want to upload bulk amount of data, how will you upload it? Now in the Salesforce, there are two tools available. One is the import wizard, other one is the data loader. Import wizard is the tool what they offered within the Salesforce without any programming. It's a drag and drop model, like how you have created a declarative programming, declarative development. Using the same format, they have given a procedure for importing the data. Now, what is this import wizard? Using this import wizard, we can send 50,000 records at a time. We can upload 50,000 records at a time. How many records we can upload? 50,000 records. So let me show you this. Now, when you want to upload the data, first you should have the data. First, I am creating a dummy data here so that I can insert this data or update the data. I have some records here. So we have this data. I have a huge data. Some data we have given. Some data I have. This is the data I want to insert. Now, if you want to insert this data, I cannot sit and type each and every record. What I'm doing, whatever the data I want to insert, first save as CSV file. What is the file? CSV, comma delimited file. Comma delimited file. Where I am storing it? Data loader. Okay. Save it as a CSV file on the data loader. Now this is the CSV file. Now we have a huge number of records. We want to upload it. Then what I'm doing first, import wizard is the first wizard of what I have. How do you go to import wizard? Setup, administer, data management, setup, administer, data management, setup, administer, data management. Then let us go to the next one. Here, look at the format. Data import wizard. What was this? Data import wizard. When you go to data import wizard, scroll down. What was this? Launch wizard. Then look at the objects what we have. Account, contact, leads, solution, campaign. Only these are the standard objects into which we can insert. How many records I can insert? 50,000 records. Onto which objects? Account, contact, lead, solution, campaign. What are the custom object? All the custom objects. You go to standard objects, go to account, add a new record. Now, do you want to check any duplicate? Do you want to check any duplicates? Do you want to know whether any duplicate record is existing or not? If yes, specify on based on which field you want to check. Otherwise, leave it. So we have a choice to check duplicate records before inserting. So if I give Satish and Satish, do you want to insert 2 records or do you want to insert only 1 record? No. Choose the CSV. No. Next. Then we have annual revenue. Map. Next. Simply map the fields. Excel sheet is uploaded. Map the fields. Start import. Then go back to the account. See the data is inserted or not. All these records are inserted successfully. Are you getting my point here? So what was this? What was this? Simply we are creating a data with a import wizard. So we got a CSV file. Let me give one more set of data. So how I'm creating? Last name, first name, phone number, your phone. Account ID. Now, if there is any lookup field, what will happen? If there is any lookup field, what will happen, boss? In the lookup field, what will be there? In the lookup field, what will be there? ID of the parent record. Master detail field or lookup field will have ID of the parent record. So, what should I do, boss? If it is a lookup field, I have to give ID of the parent. ID of the parent. I'm only taking few records here. This is how we got it. This is how I created the data. Now I want to insert it. Tell me what is the procedure? setup, administer, data management. Then we have data import wizard, launch wizard. Then we have accounts and contacts. Now, update existing records, add a new update. Let's say update to existing records, update existing records. Then what we are doing, update the existing account information. Choose last name map, first name map, phone number map, account, okay, other number map. What is not mapped? Account. ID field will be there. Contact. So if the now there is no guarantee that both of you will use same. There is no guarantee that the fields in the CSV file and the fields in the CSV file and the fields in the object will be same. Now when I am giving Excel sheet, I will give my names, my labels. Now in the object you may have different names. So what you are supposed to do? Click on change, map it. Click on change and select which field. This is the field in the CSV file, and this should be mapped with which field in the database table. Map it. Next, not mapped is required on a update reset. What was that? Not a phone number. Let me give you account ID. I have to give. Look at the next. Start. Right, boss. Now I have chosen this. Go to this account. Down. Look at the contacts what we received. Now, where was the contacts? Let's go back and see. Couple of contacts are created today. Contacts. These are the contacts what I received now. Right. What is the record ID I have given, boss? Check. Go to that record ID. You'll be finding the corresponding contacts updated. So basically, what I'm doing, I'm getting a CSV file, and I'm uploading the file, mapping the fields, and doing. But what is the drawback of this? Drawback of this is maximum 50,000 records. We cannot go beyond that. Second one is it will not support every object. It will only support account, contact, lead, solution, campaign member. Other standard objects are not supported. So data loader, okay, is the next option what we have, which will support uploading of 5 million records. Import wizard will help you to upload how many records? Only 50,000 records. Into which object? Account, contact, okay, account, contact, lead, solution. But whereas when you take import wizard, it is only giving account, contact, lead, solution, campaign member, and all the custom objects. But if I want to upload more than 50,000 records, what is the solution you have? If you want to upload more than 50,000 records, what is the solution we have? Then we are going for a tool called data loader. What is the tool we had? Data loader. Data loader is the one of the ETL tool offered by the Salesforce to upload or work with the bulk amount of data. Data loader is the one of the ETL tool developed by the Salesforce, given by the Salesforce to upload bulk amount of data. Now, how you work with the data loader? First question: how do you install the data loader? It's a tool I told. Then you have to install it and use it. How do you install it? So let us see this. Setup, administer, data management. Then we have data management. Scroll down. What is the option we had here? Data loader. Go to the data loader. Download the data loader for Windows or Mac. Download the data loader for Windows or Mac. The moment you download it, you'll find you'll find this symbol. This is a file you're going to get it. The moment you download it, you're going to get this file. Right. What is the file? Data loader file you're going to get. So we are supposed to click on this. What is that file called? Exe file. It is a exe file. What type of file is this? Exe file. It is a exe file. So what you are supposed to do? We need to click on next and install it. Okay. So let me check whether it's installed already. For me, it's already installed. So it is already installed for me. So let me remove this. Just take a fraction of seconds for installing. So go to the downloads. Click on it. Agree. Next. Install it. Next. Just follow the instruction. Okay. Follow the instruction. Just install. It's a exe file. It is a exe file. Now data loader is installed. It's the exe file. Click on next, install. Okay. Now the point here is, if you want to run this, Java should be installed on your system. GRE should be installed on your system, because this data loader is a tool developed on Java. So to run this tool on your system, Java should be installed. So how do you install the Java? Go to oracle.com. Where is the downloads? Load. What is the option of downloads, boss? Straight away give the downloads.
See the download button there.
Find the download button here. we're already finding the download. Okay, fine. Now go to this. Now you can download a JSC. JRE is okay. You can go with the JRE. We don't require a JDK. So what we can do, download whatever the version you want. So latest version we have, just download it. When you download it, you find the exe file. That is also click next. This is also exe file. Click next. Okay. Now it takes time to download and set up the things. Just go to this download the file. You get a exe file. Let me show you if I have the file. You get like this file you will be getting. You will be getting the file like this. Just click on next. It will install automatically. It's the exe file. Just click next. Now, before installing, how do you know whether Java is there on your system or not? Go to command prompt. Java. You can give Java -, or you can just give Java C. When you say Java C, if you get something that you don't understand, Java is there. If Java is not there, you get an error message saying that Java C not recognized. If you are getting a Java C not recognized, Java is not installed, then you are supposed to download and install it. Once you download and install it, go to C drive. You find program files. In the program files, you find Java. If Java is installed, you get a Java folder. Go to program files, Java. You get a folder. Then you can go to JDK. What you are finding here? Bin. Copy this bin URL. Copy the bin URL in the C drive. Program files Java. This is a fixed path. C drive, program files Java. Then you will find your version of your JDK. In that you will be finding bin folder. Copy that. Go to my computer. Right click. Properties. Advanced system settings. Environmental variable. New. Java. New. If already path is there, then give semicolon. If already path is there, then go to path, edit, give semicolon followed by one. If it's not there, create a new one. Then there is the end of the game. You can find the documentation for installation of Java in my Facebook community. I give the screenshots. Just go through that. Okay. Once you're done, data loader will be available with you. Once the data loader is available to you, first question: how do you log in? It is a tool installed on your system. From this tool, I want to insert the data into Salesforce. Now, how do you log into data loader? If you want to log into the data loader, there are two ways. One is password authentication, other one is O authentication. Now look at this. The moment I click on this, what you are finding here? OAuth password. OAuth and password. Let us start with the password authentication. When you say password authentication, your username, your password, login. When you're giving a username, password, login, now failed. Why it failed? Understand this. Go back and see why it failed. If you are trying to log in from external system, you are supposed to provide a security token. Username, password is not sufficient. You are supposed to provide security token. Failed API security token required. It failed because it required what? Security token. How do you generate the security token? Go to the username, my settings. Go to the username, my settings. Now we have personal, and the personal what we are getting here. Reset my security token. Go to username, my settings, personal, reset security token, reset the token. Now we receive secret token. Go to the secret token, copy the secret token, password followed by secret token. My password is Salesforce 123 followed by secret token. So what was that? Username, password plus security token. Now login is successful. So if you are trying to log in, why it is asking a security token? If I go to your profile, keep a IP address restriction. I remove it 0 to 255. It will not ask username password. It will not ask security token. It will not ask secret token. Now I told you business hours, network access and IP ranges, right? If my system is within the range of IP ranges, it will not ask me the security token. It is only username password is sufficient. If my IP address is not within the system range, then it is going to ask me. It is going to ask me the if IP address of my system is not within the IP range. IP address of my system is not within my IP range. Then what I will do? Then I will go for security tokens and I have to set it. Are you getting my point? To understand this, I'll give a demonstration again. Go back to IP address. Now I'm giving IP address. For student, I give IP address. Similarly, I want to go for system administrator. System admin. Now I give IP range. Now again I will go to data loader. Again, if I go to data loader, now it has given username, password, login. No secret token. Because my system is within the IP ranges what I have given. There is a reason it is not asking me for verification. So if you want to generate a secret token, how do you generate? If you want to generate a secret token, how do you generate? My settings, personal. Now you will not find that reset secret token because I removed the option. Otherwise, you will get an option called reset token. Click on the reset token. It will send a security token to reset my security token. It will send a reset. Okay, it will send a security token to the registered email address. Whatever the email address you give, that email address will receive the security token. How long this token will be valid? Until you reset the same token, I can use for years. Once I got a token, until you reset, same token I can use for years. Same token I can use for years. I hope you're good. Okay. Now, what is the second way of authentication? Then we have password authentication. OAuth. When you say OAuth, choose the environment, production. It's asking you username, password. Login successful. But right, boss. So how many ways are there? One is password authentication, other one is O authentication. Whichever is suitable to you, you can prefer that. Okay. If you go with the password authentication, security token is a must. Okay. When your IP address is not within the range. Okay. Now what is the operation you want to do? I want to go for an operation called export. When you are going for an operation called export, go to the account object. I'm reading ABC. Account 1. I deleted a couple of records. Now how many records are there in database now? 39 records are there. Okay. Go to the data loader, export. Export means from Salesforce, we are getting the data back into your system for your desktop. Now I am going with account object. Choose the file where you want to store. I want to store the file in data loader. Then go to next. Name, type, phone. I took the data. So how many records are inserted? 39 records are successfully inserted. How many records are inserted? 39 records are successfully inserted. How many records are inserted? 39 records are successfully fetched. Okay. Now export means what? The data which is there in the Salesforce, the data we are fetching on your system. The data which is there on your Salesforce, we are fetching the data on your system. The data which is there in the Salesforce, we are fetching the data onto your system. Look at this. Now we have fetched these records. Now export the data from Salesforce to your desktop. Export the data from Salesforce to your desktop. Now we have export all. What is it? Export all. Let us see. You have ID, name, type. Now how many records are there? 42. Now when you exported, how many records came? 39 only. But when you export all, how many records are coming? 42. What about the remaining 3 records? Now when you say export all, records which are deleted, they are in is deleted equal to true. The records which are deleted, the moment you delete, the value of is deleted equal to true. How long? 15 days. So the records which are deleted still in the database, even those records are fetched. Export, it will export all the data in the object which is not deleted. Export all records which are in the object which are deleted, not deleted, all of them are exported. The records which are deleted, which are not deleted, all of them are exported. Delete all records which are deleted and which are not deleted, all of them are exported. Maximum how many records we can export? 5 million records. How many records we can export? 5 million records. Right. Let us go to the next one. Okay. Now I'll go for once again export. Account. So if you look at this, we have a choice. Which records you want to fetch? ID, name, type. You have a choice to choose what you want. And also we have a condition. You can define a condition where created date equal to. We can apply the condition also. So there's a bug here. Create account where created date. There's some issue here. Okay. No issue. So issue was from the previous file. Go back to this. So previously I have not selected the file properly. Now how many records are there? 25 records are exported. So whichever the records we are created today, only those records are exported here. So what does it mean? You have a choice to choose which fields you want. You have a choice to choose which records you want. Whereas in the data import wizard, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice to choose what you want. You simply export the complete data. Whatever the data is there in the table, entire data will be exported in the wizard. Whereas in the data loader, you have a choice to choose which fields you want to export and which records you want to export. I can also give a conditions. Okay. Now go back to this. Now what I want to do, delete, or you want to update, or you want to update, or you want to offset. So first let us go with the update. Now what happened? The data which is already in database, this data I want to update. How you want to update? Type update. So when you want to update, the data, they're asking, boss, if you want to update the data, ID of the record is a must. Why? If you don't tell me which record I have to update, how do I know? So if you want to update the record, it is a must that you have to provide ID of the record. If you want to update the data, it is a must that I have to provide a valid record ID. If you want to update the data, it is a must that I have to provide a valid record ID. If you don't provide a valid record ID, I cannot update. So what is the mandatory? If you want to update, Salesforce record ID is mandatory. If you want to update, Salesforce record ID is mandatory. Similarly, I want to delete. If you want to delete the data, how do I know which record I am deleting? If you want to delete the data, how do I know which record I am deleting? Then here also, it is a must that we have to provide Salesforce record ID. If you don't provide me a Salesforce record ID, how do I know which record you are trying to delete? So, I am providing ID. So, what is the condition here? If you want to update the data or you want to delete the data, it is a must. It is a must that you have to provide. It is a must that you have to provide Salesforce account ID. Otherwise, I will not be able to do that. So, what did I do? I have performed a delete. So, go back to this object and see out of 39 records, how many records are left out? We can see here only 14 records are here. So, remaining 25 records are deleted. Deleted records, you can find them in this agreement. I hope you are good with this. So, what was that? Basically, what is the purpose of this data loader? It is to work with a larger set of data. At a time, we are inserting a group of record. At a time, we are updating a group of record. At a time, we are deleting the data. We want to export and we want to export all. I hope you are good with this. Insert, update, delete, export, export all. At a time, if you want to work with a huge amount of data, you want to insert the data, you want to update the data, you want to delete, you want to export or export all, we will use a data loader. Up to how many records we can work? 5 million records. Up to how many records? 5 million. So let me go with one custom object now. Let me take any one custom object. Now, what was that? External ID. Enable this field as external ID. What is the purpose of this external ID? Why did you make this field as external ID? Look at the format. Now this is SAP, this is Salesforce. Suppose if Salesforce is sending the data, I have 18 character ID. ID is nothing but 18 character. Now, if I enter the data, click on next. Okay, if I enter the data, whatever the data that is there in the Salesforce, I want to send it to external system. From Salesforce, if they are sending the data to external system, so what happened? Data is coming to say, okay, external system, Sham. Then we had phone number 0401234. Then Salesforce ID 001. How you know Salesforce ID? Because from Salesforce you are sending the data. The ID is sent. The data is registered with the SAP. Now in the SAP I got an ID called SAP 01. Now SAP people modified this data. And they also created a new record. Now they created a new record. This data again they are sending back. When they are sending back, what happened? If the data what you are sending, if the data contains Salesforce ID, then whichever the ID is there, based on the ID, identify the record, update the record. If Salesforce ID is not there, if the Salesforce ID is not there, create the data. If Salesforce data is not there, create the data. Are you getting my point? Now, on what basis I am saying? Based on Salesforce ID. Why? First, the Salesforce people have sent the data to SAP. Now, SAP have the Salesforce ID. Then they are creating some extra records, modifying the existing record, sending back. If the ID of the Salesforce is already there, update that record. If ID is not there, create a new record. Now I am able to identify based on Salesforce ID. Suppose if this is the case, from Salesforce they are not sending the data. Data is coming from only SAP to Salesforce. It is not two-way. It is not Salesforce sending data, SAP will update and send back. No. Only SAP is sending the data back to Salesforce. In that case, how do I know record is existing or not? If SAP is sending a data, if that record is already there in the Salesforce, update the record. If record is not there, create a record. If SAP is sending the data, if already that data is there in the Salesforce, update the data. Not there, create the data. On what basis you say record is there or not? Now they don't have Salesforce ID because SAP is sending the data to Salesforce. Salesforce is not sending the data to SAP. Then on what basis you say record is existing or not? On what basis you say record is existing or not? Then you have to compare whether record is existing or not based on a particular field. The field based on which you are trying to compare whether record is already existing or not, that field is called external ID field. Then I am saying, boss, I am giving SAP ID as external ID field. Based on that field, you compare whether the data is existing or not. So I have created a field called SAP ID, and I made this field as what? External. This ID is given from external system. Okay. Now you are sending the data. If SAP ID is there, not there. So create that record. SAP ID is there, not there? Create the record. Okay. Next again, I modified the data and I'm sending. Then if SAP ID is there, yes, already SAP ID is there. Then what I'm trying to do? Are you getting my point? If the external ID is there, update it. If external ID is not there, create it. What is this operation called? Upset. What is this operation called? Upset. Upset means if the record is already existing, create. Okay, if record is already existing, update it. If record is not existing, create it. If record is not existing, create it. Record is not existing, create it. Record is not existing, create it. If record is already existing, update it. Are you getting my point? So this operation is called upset operation. Now the question is based on which field you are going to upset? Which field I can define as external ID field? You cannot define every field as external ID field. So I can give only name. I can give name is text field, email field, number field. Only these three fields I can define as external ID fields. Which fields I can define as external ID fields? Text fields, email fields, number fields. Text, email, number. Text, email, number. Only these three fields I can define as external ID field. Only these three fields I can define as external ID field. What are they? Text, email, number. Text, email, number. Text, email, number. Only these three fields I will define as external ID field. I hope you are good. I hope you are good with this. I hope you are good with this. Clear? Text, email, number. Only these three fields I said as external ID field. I hope you are good. Now, let us go with this. There is a reason I created one of the field called student ID, which is a external ID. So go to student. Only one record is there. Two records are there. Now, how do you insert the data? This is how I create. Okay. Now we want to upset it. The question is, once you make any changes on the field, we have to log out and log in. Otherwise, the changes will not be reflected here. I made changes on database, so relog in. What is that? Upset. Next. What is the object you have taken? Student. Go to student object. Choose the file. The next, ASCII. Select the field based on which I have to check record is existing or not. Based on ID or student ID. Based on ID or external ID field. Based on which field I have to check whether record exists or not. Based on student ID or ID. I told external ID field. Next, map the fields. Next, finish. If you observe 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 is existing, 3, 4 is not existing, 5 I gave 2 times. So look at the format. 1, 2 are updated, 3, 4 are created, 5, 5 error. You cannot give a duplicate ID while inserting the data. So what is happening? If ID is there, it is updating. ID is not there, it is creating. If duplicate IDs are there in the Excel sheet, it is throwing error message. So which field I can define as external ID field? Number field, text field and email field. Number, text, email. Number, text, email. Number, text, email. I hope you are good. Number, text, email. Okay. I hope you are good with this. So finally, let us come down to the conclusions. What is the purpose of data loader? It is a ETL tool developed by, provided by, not developed by. This was acquired actually. It was not created by Salesforce initially. It was third party. It was acquired by Salesforce. Okay, long back. Okay, long back means 7 years back. Right. Now it is a ETL tool. It is a ETL tool developed on Java. Using this tool, what I can do? I can upload 5 million records at a time. I can work with the 5 million records. Using the data loader, what type of work you can perform? I can perform insert, update, upset, delete, export, export all. Using data loader, insert, update, upset, insert, update, upset, delete, export, export all. These are the operations what I can perform. Okay. Now while you are performing with this, how many ways you can log in? There are 2 ways. One is a password authentication, other one is authentication. Password authentication is for what? Password authentication, username, password plus security token. If your IP address is not restricted, then only username, password will be there. If your IP address is whitelisted username, password. Not whitelisted, username, password plus security token. How do you get it? Username, my settings, username, my settings, personal, and you will be getting reset my security token. Reset my security token. Right? Okay. While you insert, what are the rules we have to obey? While inserting the data, it is a must that we have to provide all the required fields. If you are trying to insert the data, it is a must that you have to provide all the required data. If you are trying to insert the data, it is a must that you have to provide all the required fields. And all the validation rules will be verified. All the required fields will be verified. All the validation rules will be verified. All the required fields will be verified. All the validation rules will be verified. If you are trying to insert the data using a data loader, all the validation rules will run. All the required fields should be entered. Now, if you insert the data, your workflows, approval process, everything will run normally only. Okay. Next one. If any one of the record fails, what will happen? If any one of the record fails, what will happen? You are inserting a 50,000 records or 5 lakh records you are inserting. Now, if any one of the record fails, what will happen? So, data loader is a non-atomic operation. Non-atomic means if any one of the record fail, only that record will fail, rest of the records will continue. Data loader is what? Atomic means what? If record fail, if one record fail, entire operation will fail. Non-atomic means what? Non-atomic means what? If any one record fail, only that record will fail, rest of the operation will continue normally. Rest of the operation will continue normally. If any one of the record fail, only that record will fail, rest of the operation will continue normally. So data loader is what? Non-atomic. Is it a synchronous or asynchronous? Synchronous or asynchronous? Synchronous means if I insert 1,000 records, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a single stage. Asynchronous means divide them into groups. 200 one set, 200 one set, 200 one set. Run all the records at a time. When you run all the records at a time, I am not sure which is going to insert first. Synchronous means 1000 record means same order what is there in the Excel sheet, the same order they will be inserted. Asynchronous is what? 200, 200, 200 I divided. All the, okay, set 1 200, set 2 200, set 3 200, set 4 200, set 5 200. All the 5 sets will run at a time. When all the 5 sets are running at a time, order of the data is zigzag. Randomly they will be inserted. So it is what? Asynchronous operation. This is not a synchronous, it is asynchronous. Then, up to how many records we can perform? Right? We can perform what? Insert, update, upset, delete, export the data from Salesforce to external system to Salesforce. What is the navigation? Setup, administer, data management, data loader, download the data loader. Now install. Select the data loader.exe file, click run, agree the terms, next, and finish. Then, now, if you are going with a Internet Explorer, this is a old version. I don't think now it is required actually. Now, if you are only working with Internet Explorer, there is a possibility of getting an error. If you are going with the Internet Explorer, there is a possibility of getting an error. So what was that? Then you are supposed to go with where was the developer tools? You'll be finding a tools. Where was that option called tools? Click on settings. Find whether you are finding any tools here. The browser is modified. Okay. In case if you are working with the browser, then they say it's Internet Explorer. There's a SSL error will be getting, boss. I don't know whether it's coming in the recent version or not. The old version we used to get it. Okay. So if you are getting that error, then this is the solution what we are supposed to follow. Find out where is the tools. Anybody has an idea? Basically, you are supposed to get the tools here. Let me check the extensions if you want. You can get developer tool actually. Okay, fine. No issue. If you are working with the Internet Explorer, there's an option called tools actually. Find out where is the tools option in the new Internet Explorer. Then in that you will be finding a Internet options. Then we need to click on advanced tab, enable SSL 3.0. Sorry. Disable SSL 3.0, disable SSL 2.0, enable TLS. Old version of security is SSL. Now it is already upgraded to TLS certificate. Old version of your certificate, like HTTPS is there, right? The certificate previously is SSL. Now it is upgraded to TLS. If you are getting that SSL error, we need to go to the tab and enable TLS, disable SSL. Okay. How do you log into data loader? OAuth or password. If it is OAuth, choose the environment, production or sandbox, provide the username, password. If you are logging for the first time, they'll send a OTP to your email ID. Receive that OTP, enter the data. If it is a password, first you are supposed to generate security token. How do you generate security token? Username, my settings, personal, reset security token. Reset security token, reset the token. So this is how we have given. Okay. Then how do you enter? Username, Salesforce password plus security token. Which are the standard objects supported by the data loader? Data loader supports lead, account, contact, opportunity, price book, product, event, task, user, and all the custom objects. Whereas when you took a import wizard, it only support account, lead, contact, and solution. But whereas the data loader is going to support lead, account, contact, opportunity, price book, product, event, task, user. All these objects are supported along with all the custom objects. Up to how many records it is going to support? 5 million records. How do you export the data? Select export option, choose the object, specify the location, select the fields. If you have any filter condition, apply it, click on finish. Export all, same story. What is the difference between export and export all? When you export, only the data in the object is exported. When you say export all the data in the object, including the data, okay, including the data which is and value of is it is. Then how do you insert the data? We have the same story. Then while inserting the data, all the validation rules will run, all the required fields will be respected. If there are any lookup fields or master detail field, what should I do? Provide 18 character ID of the record. Update. If you want to provide update, what should I do? ID of the record should be given. Delete. ID of the record should be given. How do you perform offset? To perform the offset, we need external ID or Salesforce record ID. Which field can be external ID? Text, email, number. If external ID is already existing, update. Not existing, create. Then how do you perform a update or delete? Already discussed. Then let us go to the next one. Now you are not giving entire data, right? You are not giving entire data. When you are not giving entire data, whatever the fields which you are not entered, you are not giving all the fields. Well, updating the data, I am not giving all the data. I am only giving few fields. Whatever the remaining fields which you are not given, you are not giving entire data. Whatever the remaining fields which you are not giving, you go to data loader, settings. What is the option we have? Insert. So the fields for which I am not entering the data, don't leave them blank. Put them as null. Batch size. I told divide the data into number of batches. Okay, how many records are considered as one batch? I give 200. Default is 200. If you want, you can increase, you can decrease. Minimum value 1, maximum value 2000. Now you have to break the data into number of groups. Now what is the size of the group? Minimum value 1, maximum value 2000. Default size is 200. Now while entering the data, Salesforce will take the data in the form of what? Okay, year, month, day. But what is the format in which I require? Day, month, year. In the Excel sheet, when I'm entering the data with IST time zone, it will consider year, month, day. Consider day, month, year. But whereas the Salesforce is expecting the date in the form of year, month, day. In the Salesforce, how do you give the date? But in the Excel sheet, we are going to give day, month, year. So that's the reason I'm saying, boss, accept the European format. European format is day, month, year. When I enable this, it will accept what? European format. That means I can enter the data in the form of day, year, month. Day, okay, month, year. Day, month, year. Otherwise, it will consider as what? Year, month, day. Now, what about if the size of the file is crossed? Now I give name, length is 40 characters. But in the Excel sheet, I am giving 80 characters. Then we have allow field truncation. What is the option we have? Allow field truncation. Basically, insert null, assignment rules, batch size, insert null, assignment rules, and what is the next one we had? European date format. European date format. These are the points what I have to remember. Now the fields which I am not inserting, their values will be null. Then the date format I have to enable, accept European format. Field truncation. Length of the data is crossing, it will truncate. Which time zone? The current user who logged into the data loader, his time zone is taken. Whose time zone? The current user who logged into the data loader, his time zone is taken. Current user who logged into the data loader, his time zone is taken. What is the minimum size? 1. Maximum 2000. Default 200. Right, boss? Synchronous or asynchronous? Asynchronous. Atomic or non-atomic? Non-atomic. European date format. What is the time zone? The user who logged in, his time zone is taken. Does the data loader will accept? Does the data loader will accept? Does the data loader will accept duplicate values? Yes. You don't have a rule to check duplicates. You don't have a rule to check duplicates. It doesn't have a rules to check duplicates. So in the data loader, we can insert duplicate records. But whereas when you go to import wizard, you have a choice to choose whether to accept the duplicates or not. In the data loader, by default, duplicates are inserted. Whereas in the import wizard, you have a choice to say whether to accept the duplicates or not. Now let us make a quick comparison. Import wizard, how many records? 50,000. Data loader, 5 million records. Import wizard, account, contact, lead, solution. Data loader, account, okay, lead, first one, lead, account, contact, opportunity, price book, product, okay, price book, product, event, task, and user. Now, import wizard provides you insert, update, upset. Data loader, insert, update, upset, delete, export, export all. Import wizard, import wizard, import wizard, we can avoid duplicate. Data loader, we cannot avoid duplicate. Data loader, we cannot avoid duplicate. I hope you are good. And import wizard, no installation required. Data loader, we require installation of data loader and Java on your system to run it. I hope you are good. People have followed this. Basically, what is the purpose of this? To work with a larger amount of data. It is used to work with a larger amount of data. If you want to work with a huge amount of data, we can go for it. Then what is the difference between data export and your data loader? Using data loader, we are exporting the data using the data management. Here also we have data. Using this also we can export. But what is the difference? Here only select the object, say starting point. So it is not asking you which fields you require, which data you require. Whereas in the data loader, I have a choice which fields, which data. That is the difference. If you want to take a backup of the data, if you want to take a complete backup, export can be used. If you want to export a specific data, data loader is used. I hope you are good. Clear? Clear? Data is exported or imported using data loader. Any other tools are available in the Salesforce? Some commercial tools are available. What are they? MuleSoft. MuleSoft is also one of the ETL tool provided. Now Salesforce acquired the company. Previously it is called MuleSoft. Now Salesforce acquired their product. The MuleSoft company was acquired by Salesforce. Now the MuleSoft is used to import or export the data from different databases and applications directly without writing a program. Now I have some Oracle database. Take the data into Salesforce. I have SQL data. Take the data into Salesforce. Or take the data from Salesforce to Oracle. Say, take the Salesforce to SQL. Take the Salesforce from SAP. Salesforce to Java. Then to work with third-party systems or third-party databases, Salesforce has acquired one company called MuleSoft. Using that MuleSoft ETL, we can do all this, right? Without programming, right? Any other Jitterbit, okay? Aptest. There's some popular tools are there, but all these are commercial. Your client may not be interested to spend the money, okay, on third-party tools. If he is so, then go with the Salesforce product, which is called MuleSoft. Okay. I guess everybody followed the need of this. What is the need of this concept? What is the need of this concept? When you are working with a larger amount of data, if I want to import the data or export the data, I have to do manually. If you don't want to do manually, then we require some tools to support this. Such type of tools are your data loader and import wizard. Import wizard can go up to 50,000. Data loader can go up to 5 million. Import wizard, limited objects. Data loader, more number of objects. I hope you are good. People are good with this. Right. I hope everyone is good with this example concept. Right. So if you are going for a lookup or a master detail field, we need to get the ID, right? How will you get the ID? Lookup field or master detail, we are supposed to provide the ID of the record. So how do we do that? Let us see. Now this is the data which I am trying to import into Salesforce. This is SAP data, let us see. Now in this data I have name, let us say my ID. This is the data which they are giving from outside. Now what should I do? Now parent. I am inserting the data. Let us say this is the data. It is a payment object. I am inserting the data from Excel system. Customer. This is what we got, payment. Now the point here is, this is the data what they are giving. But when I am inserting this data into payment object, I cannot insert Satish because customer is a lookup field. In the lookup field, what should I do? I have to enter ID of the customer. I have to enter ID of the customer, not the name of the customer. In the lookup field, what will be there? In the lookup field, ID of the parent will be there. In the lookup field, ID of the parent will be there. In the lookup field, ID of the parent will be there. In the lookup field, ID of the parent will be there. But what are you giving? Customer name you are giving. So how do you get the customer ID based on this? There is a reason we go for VLOOKUP function on Excel sheet. Now VLOOKUP function on Excel, not on Salesforce. On Excel sheet, there is a functionality called VLOOKUP. What is that VLOOKUP? I'll tell you. Look at this. So first, download the Excel sheet with the name and ID. Now, create a VLOOKUP field here. Lookup field. In the VLOOKUP field, we are going to create. What is that? So, in both the cases, what is the common name? Wherever Satish is there, get the corresponding VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP to this name. Okay, VLOOKUP to this table. Look up to this table, get the equivalent ID value. Look up to this table, get the equivalent value. So, for Satish, we are going to get 001. This is how we are going to get the. So create whatever the data you require. What is the common field you have? Okay, the common field ID. Then write a VLOOKUP functionality to the table and substitute the value. This is what Excel sheet. You just open a YouTube and say VLOOKUP functionality in Excel. Just practice one or two example. You need to know. So it is what VLOOKUP on Excel sheet. I will not teach Excel. Okay, go to Excel sheet and try. Okay, VLOOKUP. Now what you are supposed to do? If you are trying to insert the customer name, based on the customer name, I have to get the ID. So generate one, export one table, export one. Okay, export one table. What is that? Name of the customer, ID of the customer. Now, whatever the data we are trying to insert on the table, create a VLOOKUP to the downloaded sheet. Wherever Satish is matching, ID will be replaced. Okay, this is how we can get the IDs. Because every time I cannot copy the ID and paste it here. If I am inserting 1000 records, will I copy 1000 IDs? No. There we are supposed to go with the VLOOKUP functionality. Just have a go to YouTube or Google, just see VLOOKUP in Excel sheet. VLOOKUP functionality in Excel sheet. Okay. I hope you are good with this. Any other query from your end?